Relationships are very difficult. Seems a very hard thing to handle. How is it that you are doing so well?
Well, the first thing is I don't buy the assumption that relationships are inherently hard. I think that's part of the conviction that makes them difficult. If you go into a situation assuming it's going to be difficult, then you'll typically have experience and justify and explain the thing is difficult. For Darlene and I, at least, we start the relationship, or at least I start the relationship from the point of view it's ideal. And then when something doesn't work, it's an exception that we can quickly deal with. If we start from the assumption that it's going to be really difficult to become ideal, it's like climbing a mountain, you never get to the top. So basically living in a context or a belief or a commitment that she doesn't need to change, that everything's perfect the way it is, that our relationship is fine, gives us a place to stand in a way of relating to our marriage that actually is very easy and relatively effortless. I think, at least I would certainly say that we have a relationship that is as close to ideal as it can be, and that when we do have a difference or an exception, it's relatively minor and usually takes a little communication to clear something up, and that's the end of it.
What's your take on this, Darlene?
Well, I'm not a philosopher, and I think I take almost a lighter touch in the sense of I think that it's very important not to hold anything too tight. And for us, having a laugh every once in a while and letting it go is really important. I think we both entered this relationship being mature and having had a few knocks along the way. And I would say the basic thing is knowing who you are and not trying to identify yourself with who the person you're with, your married, your spouse, your friend, whatever. And if you know who you are inside, it doesn't really matter if they're the king or the queen or whatever, because you're still you. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, we have a lot of space in our relationship, so he can do whatever he wants, and I truly don't care. And even if something would normally bug me when I was younger, now I would say, it's his thing. If he wants to do it, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't define me. It doesn't impact me, because that's him, not me. We're quite separate, but we're very close, if that makes any sense.
What would you say, Jim, to people who say that they have a lot of pain in their relationships? What's the factor generating that pain from your perspective?
Well, I don't know that I have an easy answer to that. Certainly I think it may be different from one individual to another. I definitely think that if they are seriously complaining or have a recurring issue that is not going away and they say that it's painful, that I would say it's always inseparably connected to their story. It's inseparably connected to their story about the pain and why it's that way, and usually that in turn is connected to some kinds of expectations, like they have a picture or some idea of what it should be, and if it doesn't feel that way or they don't experience it that way, then suddenly something's wrong. The spouse is wrong, or they're wrong, or the economy's wrong, or there's something wrong that's causing the pain. And what they then do is, they being anyone, typically will then begin to try to fix the circumstances or to do whatever they can do to make the pain go away. I suppose there are a few people that are addicted to the pain and things like that, but I mean I don't have a lot of tolerance for that. I just tell them to quit complaining. But for the people that are actually seriously in pain and seriously want to change it, then I have to usually say you have to start with yourself, and you have to be willing to give up those expectations and begin to accept the other person or the situation the way it is, and then begin to get sort of centered in what do you want and what's missing to have it.